Disney's Aladdin, a rich friendship. The marketplace of Agrabah bustled with activity. Merchants showed off piles of ripe fruit, cheeses, dates, and freshly baked bread. Shoppers wandered among the stands, deciding what to buy. A girl named Jenna watched them enviously. Her stomach rumbled, but she had no money to buy food. She looked at the hungry faces of Rafi and Salamia, her younger brother and sister. "Wait for me back home," she told them. "I'll go find us something to eat." Salami and Rafi headed down a dusty alleyway to a makeshift tent the children called home. Jenna walked through the marketplace, keeping her eyes open for spare coins that might have been dropped. When she didn't find any, she continued along the dirt road, hoping to spot some food. Soon she came to the grand palace where the Sultan and his family lived. "Imagine living in a place like that," Jenna said to herself. "You'd need a map to find your way from one room to another. I'd bet you get to eat whatever you wanted to." She daydreamed about going to the grand feast there. As she got closer to the palace, Jenna noticed an apple tree towering above the wall that surrounded the gardens. One of its gnarled branches was so heavy with fruit it nearly reached the ground. "Lunch," Jenna thought, her spirits rising. She hoisted herself onto the low-hanging branch. Quickly she began to pick apples and toss them gently down. She climbed higher and higher until she found herself at the top of the wall. Now Jenna could see into the palace garden. Everywhere she looked, Jenna saw exotic flowers. "It's paradise!" she exclaimed. A tiny parrot flew down and perched on a nearby branch. "Come here, little one," cooed Jenna. "I won't hurt you." She leaned over, trying to coax the adorable green bird onto her outstretched finger. Suddenly, Jenna lost her balance and tumbled down into the garden. To her astonishment, she landed on something soft and furry. She turned and found herself staring into the face of a huge tiger. Jenna just smiled. She wasn't afraid of any animals, not even a tiger. "Thank you for not catching me in your mouth," she said. "Those are some big teeth you have." "Are you all right?" asked a friendly voice. Jenna looked up to see a beautiful young woman with long flowing hair standing there before her. "Hello, I'm Princess Jasmine," the woman said, "and I see you've met Raja." Jenna couldn't help but stare at Jasmine's lovely silk clothing and slippers, and her sparkling crown. "I'm Jenna," she said at last, climbing off Raja's back. Jenna tried to stand up, but she felt a sharp pain in her ankle. Jasmine saw her wince. "You're hurt?" Jasmine cried. "Please come inside." "No, thank you. I'm used to taking care of myself," Jenna insisted, politely but firmly. But when she tried to walk, her ankle gave out. Princess Jasmine caught her by the arm. "You're in no condition to go anywhere, Jenna," Jasmine announced. "You're coming inside with me, and that's that." The princess took the girl to a luxurious room inside. Before long, the royal doctor arrived. It turned out that Jenna had twisted her ankle. She'll have to stay off it for a few days, he told Jasmine. But I can't, cried Jenna. My brother and sister are waiting for me. They can stay here. My husband Aladdin and I have plenty of room for everyone, Jasmine assured her. My brother and sister are my responsibility, Jenna declared. We do not accept charity. Jasmine saw pride in Jenna's eyes. Who said anything about charity? The princess said. There's a lot of work to be done at the palace, and I could use your help. Later that day, Jenna looked out the open window and saw a blur of color flying towards her. What on earth? She exclaimed. As it got closer, she saw her younger brother and sister riding on a magic carpet. Wow! Shouted Rafi as he hopped off the rug and into the palace room. That was an amazing ride, and lots faster than a camel, Salima cried. The magic carpet took us on a tour of Agrabah. It was lots of fun. I wish you could have come. Jenna smiled. She couldn't remember the last time she'd seen her brother and sister so happy. Jasmine escorted the children to the baths so they could get cleaned up. When Rafi and Salima were reunited with Jenna, she scarcely recognized them. Their skin was scrubbed, their hair was brushed, and they wore beautiful new clothes. Later, Jasmine invited the children to eat dinner with her family. The princess could tell by how much Salima and Rafi ate that they were even hungrier than she thought. Jenna, however, ate little. Jasmine is kind, Jenna thought, but when my ankle is better, we will have to leave. It's better not to get used to fine clothes and delicious food. Then Jenna heard Aladdin say to Rafi, your home is in Agrabah Alley. My monkey Abu and I used to live on a rooftop over there. Have you ever had a run-in with old Mr. Kabali? He hates it if you so much as look at one of his apples unless you have money to pay for it. Princess Jasmine is married to someone who used to live on the streets, Jenna thought, startled. It seemed too incredible to believe. Maybe that meant there was hope for the three of them. The next day, Jasmine asked Jenna, Salima, and Rafi to come with her to see the palace menagerie. There's something I need your help with, she told Jenna. Of course, replied Jenna, anxiously to repay Jasmine for her kindness. The moment they arrived, the animals began to gather around Jenna. A giraffe nuzzled her cheek, and two baby monkeys, who have come to investigate, settled on her shoulders. You seem to have a special way with animals, observed Jasmine. That giraffe is usually very timid. She hardly ever walks up to anyone. Oh, yes, Salima piped up. Our parents used to say that Jenna got along well with wild animals because she is just as fierce as they are. Rafi nodded in agreement. Jasmine gestured to a corner of the garden. That baby elephant was brought to us recently. He was found wandering alone. We have tried to make him feel at home here, but he seems so unhappy. I'm not sure what else to do, the princess exclaimed. Jenna approached the elephant, but he turned away from her. So the girl sat down on the ground nearby and waited and waited. At dusk, the elephant was still in a corner by himself. That evening, Jenna stood at her balcony and watched the lonely creature, wondering how to become his friend. For the next 2 days, Jenna stayed near the elephant from morning until night, sometimes sitting quietly, sometimes petting him, sometimes speaking softly. On the third day, something wonderful happened. The elephant stood up, smiled, and pointed his trunk at Jenna. Then he showered her with water. "Well, hello to you too," Jenna exclaimed, laughing. After a few more days in Jenna's care, the baby elephant no longer seemed scared. He played with the other animals and even let Jenna climb onto his back. A week later, Jenna's ankle had completely healed. "You have been very kind," the girl explained to Jasmine, "but it's time for us to go home." "Won't you stay here?" the princess asked. "We need someone to help care for the palace animals, and you have a special gift." Before Jenna could answer, the baby elephant used his trunk to push her straight into Jasmine's arms. "Thank you," Jenna told the princess, smiling. "We would be honored." The end.